Hey guys, I'm Marshall Sparkman, former captain in the United States Air Force, and I specialize in VA loans. I've dedicated my post-military service career to helping veterans. And one of the biggest misconceptions on VA loans is the appraisal process. Let's real talk. You and I hear about the VA appraisal. I have this conversation on a regular basis. In fact, I teach a class to real estate agents titled VA Loan Boot Camp. It's a CE credit for them. And at the beginning of the class, I always ask, what do you think about the VA loan? Tell me everything you know about it. What are some constant hurdles that you hear or that you see? And always the realtor raises hands and their concerns are the appraisal. So we all know that the reality is that most real estate agents don't understand VA loans. Most veterans don't understand VA loans. Most lenders don't understand VA loans. There's so many misconceptions, and VA actually has the easiest, smoothest appraisal process out there. I'll educate you that on a second, but right now, I want to address the big elephant in the room. I had this conversation just this week. A seller did not want to accept the offer because the buyer was going VA, and they said, "Oh, it's got so many inspections and this criteria." And I pressed them on. I said, "Like what inspections does the VA loan have?" And I ask a lot of real estate agents that. Well, what inspections does the VA loan have? Well, I heard this and that. Okay, well, tell me some specifics. What have you heard? Oh, well, I hear that the appraisers are really tough on the properties. So here's the reality. If you jump into VA guidelines, I believe it's chapter 12, minimum property requirements. You can see the VA minimum property requirements for yourself. And guess what, guys? They're very minimal. It's basically the property has to be safe, sound, and sanitary, and it needs to meet local codes. As long as you're meeting local codes, you're not going to have any problems with the VA appraisal. Okay. The reality is, the VA appraisers are actually going to be more lenient on you than conventional loans. If you were to print off the VA minimum property requirements and then you were to print off conventional loan property requirements or FHA loan property requirements, the VA is going to be like this small couple pages, and conventional and FHA is going to be a big stack. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of concerns. The VA actually wants to make these deals work. So as long as the veteran wants the house and the veteran's okay with the condition of the property, no matter what condition it's in, usually the VA is going to make it work as long as the property is safe, sound, and sanitary and it meets local codes. If the roof doesn't have holes in it or there's whole mold hanging out, dripping off the walls, you're probably going to be okay, right? They're looking for big glaring issues. The number one most common issue that I see with any appraisal, regardless of what loan program it is exposed wood. Okay. If you have exposed wood on your fascia or on your window sills outside, any external exposed wood is going to be an issue. I tell people just go slap a fresh coat of paint on it, and the appraiser's not going to say anything. You can fix it later on down the road if you want to. But guys, I'm here to tell you honestly, the VA loans are the VA loan appraisals are the best appraisals in the process. And here's why. Hear me out on this. Because the VA has a second set of eyeballs on your appraisal. As opposed to a conventional loan or an FHA loan, if you get an appraisal back that you disagree with or that you don't like something about it, good luck arguing with that appraiser. It's like they dig their heels in and they're not budging. But on a VA loan, if you disagree with the appraisal, then you can do what's called a ROV, a reconsideration of value. And the VA actually, it goes over the appraiser's head and it goes directly to the VA. So you have someone else giving your appraisal a second set of eyeballs. And I can't remember the statistic. It's like 76% of ROVs come back with an increase in value where the VA actually overrides the appraiser. I have it happen all the time, guys. Only time you're going to have a problem with a VA appraisal is if it's a rural property and there are legit no comparable sales out there like your house. Like I've got a rural one going right now that the appraiser's really struggling because we've gone back 12 months within a 10-mile radius and there have been no sales of a home this size or anything near this price point. That's the kind of stuff you're going to struggle with. And that's irrelevant if it's a VA loan or any other loan type. So, realtors, hear me out on this. if you're or sellers, hear me out on this. There's nothing to be afraid of with the VA loan appraisal. It's actually a better process, a better appraisal than any other loan program out there. There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of. If you have any questions, I'll pop the link below for the VA minimum property requirements. They're short and sweet and to the point. There's not much ambiguity in them. And if there is any questions about it, here's a really cool thing about VA appraisals is even if the property does not meet the set list of minimum property requirements, the VA has a process where you can request a waiver of the minimum property requirements. And as long as it's not a safety or health issue or a local code issue, the VA is going to have the veteran sign a waiver that he understands he's waiving this minimum property requirement. And then, boom, we're closing that deal. The VA does allow for waivers of their minimum property requirements. So, I would like to hear in the comments if anybody has a true appraisal nightmare with a VA loan. Now, listen, I am licensed in all states. I can help you anywhere, no matter where you are. I'd love the opportunity to talk to you about your mortgage, help you with a second opinion, and make sure that you're getting